Hi everybody, welcome back to SEDA College Online, where I am teaching you pre-intermediate, and my name is Emma. And please have a pen and paper to do some practice as we go through the lesson today. Okay, it's good to practice so you know you're learning something. If you have any questions or comments, please make a note at the end of the lesson, and I'll be sure to get back to you. Let's move on. So today we're going to be learning past continuous and past simple, preposition of place, at, in, on, and prepositions of time, at, in, on. First things first, past continuous. We use the past continuous to describe an action in progress at a specific time or moment in the past. Look at the example. Paul was watching TV, Kathy was reading a book. Two actions happening at the same time, continuous action, but in the past. Okay? The situation at the beginning of a story or a narrative. Okay? So, the sun was shining and the birds were singing. Again, two actions happening side by side, but they are continuous actions and they are happening in the past. So, to start off a story, in the past, we can talk about a continuous action. So the sun was shining and the birds were singing. We know that's continuous. Moving on to our table, and here we have the past continuous structure. Affirmative, negative, question, short answers. Okay, so look at the first row. I was working. Okay, so I wasn't working. Was I working? Yes, I was. No, I wasn't. That's the structure for I. Then we have he, she, it. Okay, so for he, she, it, we use was working, wasn't working, and then was he, she, it working, and then the answer, yes, he, she, it was, or no, he, she, it wasn't. Remember, we're using contractions, okay? So it's really important to remember wasn't means was not. Okay? Now we move on to we, you, they. And again, you're using the same for each one of these. So, we were working, same with you, same with they. We, you, they weren't working. And question, were we, you, they working? Answers, yes, we were. No, we weren't. Same with you, they. So this is the structure, okay, for the past continuous. So just watch that, and as you can see, with the subjects, we don't change the verb, okay? So it stays the same for all of them, except for he, she, it wasn't, and then when we have plural, we, you, they weren't. And same with affirmative and questions. Okay, let's move on. So I want you, using the structure now, I want you to practice a little bit. And what you're doing here is trying to remember the he, she, it, and you, we, they. And what do I use with each one? What do I use with the positive? What do I use with the negative? And what do I use? I don't think there's any questions there. So I want you to look at the sentences. There are 5 sentences, okay? And to speed up for yourself, maybe just write the answer, okay? Don't write the full sentence, because I will give you the full sentence after. And just remember, everybody, even if you only write the answers, you will get the full handout of this after, okay? So just for now, I only want you to write the answers for each one, okay? So take a look at them. I'll give you a couple of minutes to just think about it. Okay, so the first one, we're using I, okay? And the verb here is study. So what do I use for this? Okay, study. Look at number 2, they. Now remember, they. What do I use after they? And here it's a negative. We use not play. So this is a negative sentence, okay? And remember to use contractions as well for this. The next one, actually, this is a question here, okay? So number 3 is a question. So we're using listen, okay? And the subject here is they. So which word do we use before they? Okay. Is it is? Is it are? What do we use before they? Number 4, I. Okay, I. Start. What do I use? My English homework when my sister fell. Okay, so just remember that. What are you using there? And this is positive. 5, I met my husband while, okay, while. So just remember that. And then I is the subject here. And this is another positive one. Okay? So, only writing down the answers. You don't need to write the full sentences. Let's move on. So here we have the answers. Okay, so number 1, I. Okay, so I was studying. Okay, studying. I was. English for my test when the phone rang. Okay, so past. I was. Past continuous. Number 2, they weren't playing tennis when I arrived. So they weren't playing tennis. They weren't. Not they wasn't. They weren't. Number 3, the question. There should be a question mark after door there, okay? So, were they listening to music when you opened the door? Okay, so were they listening to music? Were they? 4, I was starting my English homework when my sister fell. So I was starting. I was. And then start plus ing. 5, I met my husband while I was living in Dublin. Okay, so I met my husband while I was living in Dublin. So there you go. So that is that. I hope you got on very well there. Okay, ready to move on? Now, the next part is past continuous and past simple. You can use both of these together, but the most important thing is, when do I use them? Okay, and why do I use them in one sentence? Let's find out. So we use the past simple for a completed action in the past. Okay, so we use the past simple for an action in progress before or at the same time as the past simple action. Look at these examples. Tanya was waiting at the station when the rest of the volleyball team arrived. Okay, so she was continuous action, she was waiting. And then the rest of the volleyball team arrived. That's a completed action. Okay, so the first action was she was waiting. Okay, second, the volleyball team arrived. Completed action. Next one. While the team were walking to the train, she ran to meet them. So the continuous action is they're walking to the train. Okay, but she ran to them. Okay, so that's the completed action. She ran to them, meet them. Okay, so that's using the past continuous and past simple. Let's have a look. So by doing this is practicing, okay, using, there are some sentences here and I want you to practice these. So complete the sentences with past simple or a past continuous form of the verb. Okay, so think about which one is continuous and which one is a completed action. Maybe there are two in the one sentence. Okay, so just look at the first one, Emily, and then the verb is drive, Fernanda, and read the map. Okay, so are they both continuous actions? I think they're both continuous actions. So, number 2, she, sleep. Now, look at the word here, when. Okay, when, the noise. And then the verb is wake her up. Wake her up. Think about wake up. Is that a completed action or is it a continuous action? I think wake up is a completed action. Sleep, is that a continuous action or a completed action? I think it's a continuous action. So just fill in that using the information I have given you. Number 3. While the boys make a fire. Again, fire, make. Is that a continuous or completed? And then start to rain. Start to rain, is that a completed or is it a continuous action? Think of the word start. Okay, is that completed or is it continuous? Start to rain. Okay. 4. While I swim. Continuous or completed? Okay, there's a missing verb there, okay? So the missing verb, a group of dolphins. What do you think the missing verb is? I forgot to put it in here, but you think about it. What do you think the missing verb is here? I'll let you think about that. That is my mistake, but I want you to fix my mistake. Let's see how you get on. So while I swim, what do you think? A group of dolphins, okay? Number 5, we hear. So to hear, the result when we, okay, so travel to France. Again, is it continuous or is it a completed action? Number 6, we have a party when I took the photo. So again, which one? Have a party. Do you think this is a continuous action? Do you think it's a completed action? Have a party? I think it's more continuous. And then took the photo. Okay, so what do you think this is here? Let's move on. So remember, only write the answers, okay? Okay, so let's see how you got on. Number 1. Emily was driving and Fernanda was reading the map. They're 2 continuous actions, okay? They're 2 continuous actions because they're happening at the same time. One didn't happen suddenly and the other didn't happen suddenly. They're both happening at the same time. So that's why I can use past continuous. Number 2. She was sleeping when the noise woke her up. She was sleeping. Continuous action. When the noise woke her up. Woke up. Remember, completed action. To wake up. Number 3. While the boys were making a fire, it started to rain. So again, while the boys were making a fire. Making a fire, it's a continuous action. It takes time to make a fire. Okay? And then start to rain, it's a completed action. Next one. While I was swimming, I saw, that was the missing verb, a group of dolphins. Okay, so while I was swimming, continuous action, swimming. I saw a group of dolphins. Okay, so continuous action, completed action, I saw a group of dolphins. Number 5. We heard the result when we were traveling to France. Okay, so we heard the result. The result, completed action. To hear a result, it's a completed action. When we were traveling, it's continuous. Okay, so we're on the way to France, traveling to France. Number 6. We were having a party, continuous action, having a party, when I took the photo. To take a photo, completed action. Take a photo happens very quickly, so it happens. Take a photo. We were having a party when I took the photo. So you're telling me the continuous action and then you're telling me the completed action. Okay? So that's the difference. Like the first one, okay? Just remember, 2 actions can happen at the same time. Okay? But in the rest of them, we're doing continuous and then we're doing the completed action. Okay, guys? So let's move on. Now, so here we have prepositions of place. Okay, so at. We use at for point. Okay, the point of a place and institutions. Look at all the examples here we have. At the corner, that's at the point of somewhere. At the bus stop. At the door. At the end of a page. Okay, so we have a page at the end. At the end of the road. At work. At home. And at school. Okay, enclosed space. So enclosed space. Geographic and regions. Okay, so geographic regions. In the garden. In the garden. Okay, so in the garden. In France. It's a place. Region. In London. In a box. In Ireland. In Dublin. In a building. In a car. Car. Enclosed. On. Surface, public transport, and direction. So on the wall. For this I like, on, it's good, anything that's flat, okay? So on the wall, on the ceiling is up there, okay? Inside ceiling. On the door. On the on the floor. On the bus. On the right, which is probably your left now. On the right, on the left, doesn't matter. On the menu, okay, so you would ask in the restaurant, what's on the menu today? And on TV, because TV is flat, okay? So guys, that's the different times we use prepositions of place. Let's look at some examples. So, Jane is waiting for you at the bus stop, okay? So you wouldn't say Jane is waiting for you on the bus stop. You would say at the bus stop, okay? The shop is at the end of the street. The end of the street. When will you arrive at the office? At the office. Do you work in an office? Okay, so just remember, when do you arrive at the office? It could probably at the point, okay, outside. But do you work in an office? I have a meeting in Galway. Region. Do you live in Ireland? Jupiter is in the solar system. There are no prices on this menu. Okay, so sometimes when you go to the restaurant, you want a menu and sometimes you want the price. And you would say, sorry, there's no prices on the menu. You are standing on my foot. Okay, so maybe if you're in the bus or something and somebody's standing, you say, oh, you're standing on my foot. Okay, there was a no smoking sign on the wall. On the wall. I live on the 7th floor. Okay, on the 7th floor. So we're talking about floors in a building. Okay, and then at 21 Pearse Street in Dublin. Okay, so that is that. Some examples for you to look at. Now, practice. Again, just write down the answer, okay? You don't need to write the full sentence, just the answer, and think about it as you're going through. So we're using the gaps here, and you're writing in, on, or at. Think about it, okay? Think about it. Is it a point? Is it a region? Is it on a floor? Is it a flat surface? Let's go through each one, okay? So number 1, are you going to write the report? Missing, home. Okay, so I think that's a point of a place, okay? So think about that one. He's staying, the Ritz Hotel. Blank, Lisbon. Okay, so think about hotel, but then think about Lisbon. That's a place, okay? Hotel is a building, okay? Number 4, my house is the point, okay? Think about the point at the end of the street. Number 4, sign your name, the bottom. So think about a page, okay? In England, people drive, then left. Okay, think about the street. Okay, it's a flat surface, the street. The sports results are, think about the back page of a newspaper. Newspaper, it's straight. It's flat. Don't let the kids play football, the street. Again, flat. Our grandfather is waiting for you, the bus stop. Okay, think about the point here. So just write down in, on, or at for each one here. Okay, let's go and look and see how you all got on. So here we are, the answers. So the first one, Are you going to write the report at home? Okay, so we use at home here. He's staying at the Ritz Hotel in Lisbon. That's a geographic region. My house is at the end of the street. At the point. Remember point at the end. Sign your name at the bottom, okay, of the page. In England, people drive on the left of the street, okay, so straight. The sports results are on the back page of a newspaper. On, because newspaper, so we say on the back page. Don't let the kids play football on the street, okay, on the street. We always say on the street. Our grandfather's is waiting for you at the bus stop. We say at the bus stop. Okay, so that is that. How did you all get on? Are you happy with yourself? So that's the end of prepositions of place. Okay, now we're going to look at prepositions of time. Okay, so let's see, guys. So we use it precise time. We use at for precise time. Okay, so at 2 o'clock, that's precise. At 10:30 a.m., at noon, which is 12, at Christmas. Okay, so we use at Christmas. At bedtime, at sunrise, at sunset, at the moment. Okay, we say at the moment. I don't know, there's something people use and I can't remember what it is. Oh, I know what it is. It's just entered my head. We do not say in this moment. Okay? I know you're probably sitting going, yes, I say that. Yes, you do. And okay, but don't worry. You say at the moment. Okay? Not in this moment. Forget that. Let's just forget it. Take it out of your head. Okay? At the moment. Where are you living at the moment? At the moment, I'm living in Dublin. Not in this moment. No, no more. Okay? Now, in. Okay, so in we use for months, years, centuries, and long periods. Okay, so for months by themselves, we use in May. Okay, in June, in July. In summer, when we're just talking about summer, we say in summer, and then we can say in the summer. In 1990 for years, okay, in 1980, in 2000, in 2010, all of these. In the 1990s, okay, so there we're talking about different decades. In the 1990s, in the 1980s, all of these we use in. In the next century, blah, blah, blah. In the Ice Age, okay, that's long periods, and in the past and in the future we use for that. Okay, let's move on to on. On for days, on for dates. On Sunday, on Monday, on Tuesday, on Wednesday. The next one we use for dates. So we say on the 29th of March. We don't write on the. We don't write off March. We write it like this and we say it like on the 29th of March. And then for longer, with years, we say on the 25th of December 2020. On Christmas Day, on Independence Day, on my birthday, on New Year's Eve, on New Year's Day. Okay? So these are all the different times we use at, in, on. Let's look at some examples. A lot of information there, so let's use them in sentences, okay? So, I have a meeting at 10 a.m. At 10 a.m. Time. Exact time. The shop closes at midnight. Exact time. John went home at lunchtime. In Ireland, it sometimes snows at Christmas. Okay? Do you think we will be able to go to Jupiter in the future? Who knows? Okay, so in the future. There should be a lot of progress in the next century. Okay, so there should be a lot of progress in the next century. Do you work on Mondays? Monday's been the day of the week. Her birthday is on the 14th of January. Where will you be on New Year's Day? Okay, so using all these, we're putting in at, in, on. Okay. Let's take another look at the moment. So, right. So let's move on to some. Oh, I have some more information here, guys. So when we say last, next, every, this, we do not use at, in, on. Okay, so for example, I went to Paris last June. I don't say I went to Paris in the last June. No. Okay, again, if this is something you say, take note of this and use this now. Moving forward, use this information. He's coming back next Monday. Not he's coming back on next Tuesday or Monday. Can't use that. I go home every Christmas. Not at every Christmas. Okay, I don't say I go home at every Christmas. No, I just say I go home every Christmas. We'll call you this evening. You don't hear people say, we'll call you in this evening. No, we don't say, we'll call you at this evening. No, we say, we'll call you this evening. Okay, so just using last, next, every, this. With all of those, okay, we don't use at, in, on. Take note, okay, guys? Let's move on. Practice. Now you're going to try this exercise by yourself. Or even if there's one or two of you, why not do it together? No problem. Remember, just write down the answer, okay? If you're afraid that you want all the information, please, you will be given this as a whole handout, okay? So look, number 1. My birthday is March. What do I say for month? I always feel tired the weekend, okay? So what do I use before the weekend? Jack was born. What do I use for dates and month together? Okay, so not just month by itself. What do I use for dates and month together? Which word, which preposition? We have lunch, noon, exact time. What do I use? I get many gifts, Christmas. Okay, so this is the time of the year. What do I use for a time of the year? My neighbors went to Madrid last year. What do I use here? Do I need to use anything here? Remember, it's last year. Remember. She never eats night. Okay, the exact time, night. Emily was born 1990. So this is only a year by itself. Okay, so what do I use when there's only a year? No date before, no month before. What do I use for just a year? So just put in, on, at for each one, guys. Okay, so let's find out the answers. Here we go. So, number 1, my birthday is in March. The month, in March. Number 2, I always feel tired at the weekend. Please, just be aware, guys, in America, they use on the weekend. Perfectly okay. Okay, so in American English, you will hear on the weekend. That's okay. There's no problem with that. I learned British English, so we're teaching British English here, okay? So at the weekend. And you probably have heard on the weekend, and you're probably thinking, why is she saying at the weekend? Why is it not on the weekend? They're both correct, okay? Jack was born on the 15th of July. Date and month we use on. We have lunch at noon. Exact time, at noon. It's like 12. It's like saying we have lunch at 12 o'clock p.m. Next one. I get many gifts at Christmas. Okay, so at Christmas. Christmas by itself, at Christmas, at Easter, all of these you can say at. My neighbors went to Madrid last year. Do I need a preposition before last? Answer is no. I'm very good. If you didn't put anything before this, well done. She never eats at night. And Emily was born in 1990. Okay, there's no dates, there's no months, there's no anything. Remember, years we say in. Okay, so I was born in 2000. Okay, all of these things you can say in. Okay, well done. If you got all of them correct, if you only got one or two more, well done. And if you're only doing this for the first time, please don't worry. It takes a lot of practice. You just need to learn the different rules. Go back and look at the table. As I said, you will have access to these handouts. Okay? Guys, a lot of information today. Okay, so we went over the past continuous. We did past continuous and past simple. We did the preposition of place and the different times we use them. Okay, so we used in, at, on for each of them. And we also did the preposition of time, in, at, on. That's a lot of information, okay? So, thank you so much for joining me. And as I said, if you have any questions, any advice to give me, I know a student gave me some advice yesterday, and I will take any advice from you. So thank you for that. But as I said, when you're writing the answers, don't write the full sentence because you will get the handout after. I just want you to write the number 1 and then your answer, number 2 answer, because we have limited time here. Okay, so use the time wisely. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. I hope the sun is shining where you are. And see you tomorrow. Okay.